Qapla. You don't have to say Qapla. Hello YouTube, it's Bird of Prey 5, Qapla. It's Friday, October 18th. 18th, and we have a special guest today.
Hello.
Sister O'Prey is here in the background.
For a moment.
For a minute or two. Now, Sister O'Prey hasn't been on the channel much, but of course her passing comment about alpacas last time resulted in a permanent alpaca sticker and me being harassed about alpacas everywhere I go on YouTube.
You still need to have an alpaca visit you on the show. Just because
I don't need to have anything.
Yeah, but it'll happen.
Joseph Petrick says, I'm here, you can start the stream. That was at 3:03. Not Ryan Johnson says, hello on Qapla, not Ryan Johnson. Carlos says, hi, welcome Carlos. Sci-Fi Nation, aka Jason, says, Qapla and alpaca, welcome Sci-Fi. Josh Street says, down with the eater of beagle bits, Bird of Prey.
Beagle bits? What's a beagle bit?
Until he stops eating them and changes his name to Alpaca O'Prey 5. Then eats alpaca bits. No, beagle bits is something they made up. So fake food. Made of bits of beagles, I imagine. It's terrible.
I'm done here.
You're making Sister O'Prey leave. John DeMarco says hello. Oh, that was Josh Street. Joseph says hi, Carlo, without the S. Oh, I keep saying Carlos. Goddamn. Carlo, the non-director, the Guz from the corner, and Joe. And Carlos says hello to Sister O'Prey.
Hello.
Sci-Fi Nation says Qapla, Sis O'Prey.
Hello.
John DeMarco says welcome, Sister O'Prey.
Thank you.
Joseph says, and Johnny. And Joseph says Diana. Oh, he did pin A. Diana. Yeah, well, Mom O'Prey might have let it slip once or twice.
I will not confirm or deny.
Not Ryan Johnson says alpaca placa, sure. John Street says Bird of Prey, Sister O'Prey is here, and your future ex-brother-in-law DJ is here. Is DJ here in the chat right now? I don't see him ringing, so I doubt he is.
What time is it?
It is time for you to leave.
Yep.
It's 4:42, honestly.
Yep. All right, guys. Very nice talking to you.
Sister O'Prey only had a minute, but she's headed out. Take care, Sister O'Prey.
Will do. You'll see me pass by again.
Yeah, we'll see her pass by before she leaves. Sci-Fi Nation gives the live long and prosper symbol. Yeah, that doesn't go over well with Sister O'Prey.
I'll let you know what happens. Yeah, but it'll be.
I did forget to put in my headphone. Sorry about that, guys. Let me put this in. We're very, that's Sassy. Sassy's gonna say goodbye to Sister O'Prey.
Sassy beagle girl.
Yeah. There we go. If Sassy doesn't let her out, what do you think Sassy's gonna do?
She's gonna bark at me. Yeah. Whatever you Bye.
Sassy's gonna miss Sister O'Prey. She always does. Hello, guys. Sorry for the slow start here. Oh, she's knocking to get back in.
It's open. I don't have my phone.
Your phone?
My phone. Need my phone.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked your phone was away from you for that long.
Me too. Can you imagine if I walked all the way there without it? Bye, Sassy. Goodbye. Bye.
Well, we get a double dose of Sassy saying goodbye. Sassy is asking if Sisso Prey can save her from the evil Beagle Bit Eater. That's not right. So 2 victories yesterday in Space Engineers. Not only did I annihilate Anti-Trekker, but I annihilated Cinnabon, who is, hands down the best player on the server. So does that make me the new best player on the server? Some might say yes. Some might say yes. Also, Anti-Trekker told me some bull crap about how light lasers actually drain shields quicker than heavy lasers, and I was making all these changes to the SOB Sinatra, but then I said, hey, maybe I should test it, and you know what? It's bullcrap. A heavy laser does a hell of a lot more damage than a light laser. Now, 9 light lasers, which take up the same footprint as a heavy laser, they maybe do more damage to the shield. But 1-to-1, it's not even close. It's like 500, not 5, okay, it's probably like 25 to 50 times more damage, one heavy laser versus one light laser. So basically, if you have the choice between putting a heavy laser and a light laser in, take the heavy laser. It still does more damage. However, if you've got little places to fill up where a heavy laser don't fit, then I could see maybe adding some light lasers, to fill in the gaps. Even though they're not going to do a lot of damage, once the shields are down, they may help bring the shields down. Just a little bit of wisdom there for everyone. And Sci-Fi Nation says that hurts more than the uniform. This little old thing. Josh Street, I read that. Carlos says the alpacas are building a bird-eating ship, so be careful when you're next on Space Engineers. Well, I was on Space Engineers quite a bit today, retrofitting the SOB Sinatra. I added a bunch more gyroscopes. I did get rid of the 2 heavy lasers in the banks on each side, and replaced them with light lasers, but multiple light lasers. 18 light lasers. And I added I then, instead of having 1 heavy laser directly above the cockpit, there's now 2 heavy lasers. So even though the number of heavy lasers has gone down from 3 to 2, the 2 are now dead center next to each other. And we've added on a bunch of additional light lasers. So, we'll see. We'll see. In my testing, the new Sinatra, this is actually version 21 of the Sinatra, did destroy version 13 of the Sinatra, which was the one I was using earlier, noticeably quicker. So those extra power coming from those light lasers, it does help. But again, it doesn't help to replace a heavy laser with a light laser. It only helps if you replace it with a bunch of light lasers. Just to be clear. Also, before I forget, I know there's only 9 people here, so it's a slow start today. But and I would do it. I'll say it again later. Anti-Trekker was due to be on Nerdrotic tonight. Unfortunately, it's been postponed by a week. I assume it'll be next Friday. He said it'll be next week. I assume it means Friday, because Friday's the day Nerdrotic has his guests on. Also, Anti-Trekker is not 100% sure he'll be doing his stream tonight. In fact, he wasn't particularly confident he would be. his knee is in pretty severe pain today. He tweeted a picture of it. In fact, maybe we can bring it up. There's another thing I forgot to do because I wanted to get Sister O'Prey on the stream. Oh, goody. It worked. I cut some corners to get Sister O'Prey on before she had to leave, just in case DJ was around. So yeah, so Anti-Tracker posted this. Oh my God, it's gruesome. This picture of his knee, tweeted it. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Obviously, I'm not a surgeon. But holy crap, I'd say this surgeon cut about twice as long as he had to. I don't understand. They can do heart replacements with smaller cuts than they can do with this knee replacement. This was a partial knee replacement. I'm not a medical expert per se, but I'm pretty sure this doctor was drunk or high, or he just like, let's see how much I can cut. I don't know what the hell he was up to. I would have imagined a cut half as long as this. In Kuroga, we only cut as.
You know what that looks like?
What does that look like, Mom O'Prey?
Like the cut you had from the lung surgery.
Oh, Mom O'Prey saying that looks a lot like the cut I had from the lung surgery I had.
From the back?
It went from the back around.
Like your arm almost to the front.
Yeah, well, and that was terrible because not only was it a cut, they had tubes sticking out of me for what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
6 weeks I had drainage tubes. I came home with goddamn drainage tubes draining mucus and pus and nasty stuff into a goddamn sterile container that Mom O'Prey had to change every day. Yeah, they didn't want to let me. They wanted to keep me in the hospital the whole time.
Well, no, nursing home.
Or nursing home. They wanted me to go to nursing home because they didn't think Mom O'Prey could cut it, could handle it. But yes, she did. Mom O'Prey basically has an unofficial nursing certification at this point. She can do such things. Yeah, working on the medical doctors. Soon she'll be able to do the surgery. So yeah, so Anti-Trekker, if he streams tonight, great. If he doesn't, don't get scared. His knee is bothering him. Yesterday he was I was happy to see him that he was up at the computer a lot more than he had been the days before. He probably just pushed it a little much, and he's paying the price today. Hopefully he'll be okay then come this weekend. But for whatever reason, now I don't know if it's his knee. That's why it's been postponed till next week. He just said that a conflict. So I don't know if it's his knee or if it was something on his side or Nerdrotic's side. But him on Nerdrotic will be next week. So, I mean, you should still check out Nerdrotic's show Friday night. Whatever he calls it. Assuming Anti-Trekker's not streaming, check out Nerdrotic's show. But, you can. If you wouldn't normally go there, then wait till next week to see Anti-Trekker there. Joseph says, of course, I'm sending a virtual hug to Mom O'Prey and a pet to Sassy. Thank you so much, Joseph. Josh says, Bird, we found out you cheated by having your ships in God mode, aka admin mod. There is no such thing as God mode for ships. You can have a character in God mode, and the character wouldn't die, but the ship would still take damage. But no, I was not in God mode either time. In either battle, I only go in God mode when I have to do admin stuff on the server that requires me to be in God mode. Like if I have to visit the restaurant to make uranium delivery for their Federation warp core that powers the entire restaurant, I've got to go into admin mode so that I don't die if I'm out in space for a long time without oxygen and whatnot. That's it. But good try, Josh Street. Joseph says, my dogs are barking. Thanks, Joe. Exactly what the village needs at 10:46 p.m. Well, I am sorry, Joseph. Sassy always says... Sassy doesn't always say hello, but she always says goodbye. Sci-Fi Nation says, Sci-Fi Nation officially endorses Bird o' Prey 5. All hail Karoga and its hero, dear leader. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. I see good things in your future, Sci-Fi Nation. Shronmore says, greetings, Bird o' Prey 5, Mom o' Prey 5, and fellow nerds. Greetings, Shronmore. Joseph says, can we expect a rant, a song, and a mom story? Well, Mom o' Prey's outside. I'd say there's a 50% chance we can get a mom story. Kronos actually did give me a song he wanted me to sing. If he shows up, I will do it. Now, I'll be honest, this is a song I only... In fact, let me get the song up, because I forgot to do that. This is a song I really don't know. I listened to it a couple of times since he sent it to me. To me, it sounds like the... what did I call it? The Millennial National Anthem. It basically it sounds like a terrible song to me personally, but Kronos did want me to sing it, so let's see. Well, okay, I can't find it on Discord. Maybe I can bring it up on YouTube. Bear with me. Bear with me.
I can't believe it.
Son of a bitch, I muted the mic. I meant to mute the computer. Like 2 minutes ago. So yes, Mom o' Prey has a story. Yes, I have a song. And I don't know, a rant is just something that may or may not come up. I can't plan rants. So, I did say that Shromore said, greetings to Sassy, chaser of cats, eater of cookies, stalker of cardinals, defiler of cushions, and scourge of the squirrels, and barker at Sister O'Prey. Sci-Fi Nation says best wishes for Anti-Trigger, pulling for him. We all are. Captain Cat says, damn, that's a horrible cut. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. That's just not right. Not Ryan Johnson says, yikes, that looks insane. And Not Ryan Johnson says, did the alpaca burst out of his knee? I think it could have been. It could have been like a baby alpaca. Sci-Fi Nation says, I foresee a lawsuit in the future. Well, I hope it heals, in the next couple weeks, and the pain is all gone, and he moves on with his life. But Jesus, something seems wrong. Although Carlo is saying that his mom's scar is about that big. Just a warning, do not look at the operation video on YouTube. It will terrify you. Thank you for the advance, Carlo, the advance notice. Josh Street says, Bird, you're thinking about a surgery to repair an ACL or an MCL. The cut is smaller. It just seems like they do so many surgeries with small cuts these days. Captain Cat says, Bird of Prey, hello, brother. How is Mama Prey? Mama Prey seems pretty decent. How are you, Mama Prey? She's good. She says thank you. Josh Street says, Bird sent Anti-Trigger a text telling him to have Joshua to bring his computer down to the bed so he can do an anti-BedLife. If Anti-Trigger wants to do a BedLife, he could do it from his phone or his laptop if he was so inclined. I'm assuming he just doesn't want to. It's not fun, I'll be honest. I mean, for me it is, because I'm here almost all the time anyway, but for someone who actually does get to walk most of the time, it's not as fun as you're thinking. Ron Moore says, home in Caroga, where Sassy and the alpacas play, where often is heard an SOB from Bird, and he flips off Turdistan all day. Thank you. Sharon Moore. Not Ryan Johnson says, demonetized for the song, and then no audio from Bird. Well, I fixed the audio, I hope. But, yeah, not demonetized. Josh Street says, did Bird mute the mic? Yeah, I did. And yes, Bad Religion, Tiki of Doom, figured it out very quickly. To me, it just sounded like static. Not Ryan Johnson says lip reading is not a skill he perfected, and that's what led me to realize that I had muted the mic. Carlo says, gotta go to work, but hopefully I'll be able to listen to you when I get there. Very cool, Carlo. Sharon Moore says, muted, no sound. Captain Cat says, no sound. Joseph says, Gilberto Prey, Joe the sound. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Josh says, low. Bird will find out he was muted after he's done. Luckily, it didn't take too long. Captain Cat smiling. Love it when Joe says, son of a bitch. It's the best version. His is the best version I've heard. Well, thank you. Josh Street says, yeah, but son of a bitch was easy to read from the lips. Shromore is not Ryan Johnson. I actually could read Bird of Prey saying son of a bitch. And Shromore says, Joseph, perhaps it's European thing, being able to lip read Bird saying son of a bitch. Yeah, I just said it without saying it. Oh, I have to switch to live chat. Do guys remember to switch to live chat, please? You see, I don't know. Oh, Mom O'Prey said it when Sister O'Prey was here. It's okay. Yeah, I did not hear you. So let's see if there's a good rant to find. Let's head on over to the old web browser. Let's see what's going on. Jesus Christ, I don't want to see this. What's going on the Twitters? Gather around TV this Sunday for a strange new episode of The Simpsons. I'll be honest, this season started off pretty good. The first episode of the season was a lot better than most at this point in the show's run. However, I think there's been 2 episodes since then, and they've both been boring. To the point, like, I'm looking at my watch or my phone to see, is it over yet? Which is terrible failure of The Simpsons. So this Sunday's yet another new episode. We'll see. It's not looking good. JP, fun time. Like this project is taking longer than expected. So I might as well just post what I have now. General Pawlowski. So he took some of the audio from Best of Both Worlds, I believe, and put himself in it. So that scene alone took ages. Well, I guess there's more going on there than I noticed. We got a nice Star Trek jack-o'-lantern here. That's right, it is coming up on Halloween time. Everyone I don't agree with is a Russian bot. A Child's Guide to Media and Government Excuse-Making for Political Failings. It was the follow-up from Everyone I Don't Like is a Nazi, which was the best-selling book last year. Climate Cult Gets Owned. Oh, well, that I want to see. Oh, wait. Where did it go? God damn it. Do they get hit by a car? I mean, does a car run them down? They're blocking traffic, causing more greenhouse emissions as the cars just sit there idle. They're not helping the situation at all. Does somebody just realize, hey, we are causing the very problem we're trying to stop? Or does somebody just... if I was on the jury, there is no way I'd ever convict a driver for just running over one of these people. I'm sorry. The street is for walking. It is not for holding your arms against through the crosswalk. You are endangering their safety of the drivers. Something better happen here. Yes. What the hell is that guy doing? Oh, it looks like somebody picked up their banner and threw it. Well, I can't say I'm for picking up somebody's banner and throwing it away, but I would have been for them just driving through the people. They're trying to stop traffic again. This isn't New York City, I'll tell you that much. If it was New York City, these people would be on the sidewalk or in the streets under a number of cars. These drivers are much too nice. What do we got here? Dog. Kate Mulgrew. Oh, what did Kate Mulgrew say? If the suit fits, wear it. At warp speed, standing in awe of these remarkable women. Oh, because NASA's doing an all-woman spacewalk because 2019. Because it means something somehow. Spacewalkers Astro Christine and Astro Jessica are outside in the vacuum of space, getting their tools ready to replace a failed power controller. Must have been made by Turdistanis. That collects and distributes solar power to the station systems. Ask NASA. So 2 women do a spacewalk. So what? What? If everything goes well, it will be completely forgotten about. And if things go bad, they'll be blamed for being women. This is a no-win scenario here. You can say, yeah, you could tweet it. Nobody's going to remember a week from now. Oh, yeah, remember that time 2 women? It was an all-woman spacewalk? No, I don't. Because nobody cares about these things. I don't know who Sue is. It's very odd to me that some supporters of Elizabeth Warren and some supporters of Kamala Harris are aggressively going at each other while both... Thank you so much. Our official Sci-Fi Nation with a $5 super chat. Our first official endorsement of the great state of Karoga. All hail Karoga, long live Bird of Prey. You will now be returned to your regular programming. Thank you so much, Sci-Fi Nation. Greatly, greatly appreciated. 2 women on a spacewalk sounds dirty in my mind, and flat earthers would say it's fake, says Joseph. That's true. Right, if you're a flat earther, the entire thing is fake. What's this? JetBlue. JetBlue is another one of the companies on my target list. Ever since JetBlue stopped serving Munchie Mix on their flights years and years and years ago, I have to remind them that they've stopped serving Munchie Mix every time I can. As people who travel all the time, JetBlue will always be my favorite. Free real Wi-Fi, free full-size soda water. Not anymore. They took away the full-size water and the sodas. Free snacks, free TV movies. What more could I ask for? Never changing. JetBlue never change. Well, they're changing. I gotta reply. Yeah, all that stuff is gone. Yeah, all that full size stuff is gone. They switched to Pepsi from far superior. Goddamn, I can't type. Far superior Coca-Cola. And they still have yet to bring back Munchie Mix. The Munchie Mix was by far the best snack they had on the plane. Now, I understand that it didn't have the best smell, right? When you mix pretzels and cheese doodles and Chex Mix and crackers and I don't know, peanuts, all the things you could think of. When you mix all that stuff, you might not get the most engaging smell. However, it is still much better than the smell of the plane, than the stale air of the plane. Huh? That's what they claimed it was, the smell. Oh, the orange. Oh, there's... Oh. Okay, so Mom O'Prey, who was an employee of JetBlue, a higher-up employee, is saying the real reason they got rid of the Munchie Mix isn't the smell that they mentioned on Twitter, but the fact that because it had Cheetos in it, everybody would get orange on their fingers, and then the orange would get all over the plane, and it would make dirty and harder for them to clean up. So, still. Got a baby there. Beagles. And a cat. A cat stealing food from the beagle. That's not smart. That's not smart. Some Orville. I need a cigarette after those Tulsi tweets. What did Tulsi tweet? I don't know who that is. Cory Booker. Great, thank you, Hillary Clinton, queen of the warmongers, embodiment of corruption, personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, here's been blah, blah, blah. I don't even care. I don't even care. Yankees are one game away from being eliminated from the American League Championship. Clinton camp goes full conspiracy nutter, says Tim Pool. Popular mechanics because the method you learned in middle school is ridiculously slow. It works for me. This guy just found a faster way to multiply. Really? God damn, this is clickbait. I know it's clickbait. I refuse to even look. Faster way to multiply. Woman rescued after falling into sidewalk hole in Midtown. That is why even when I could walk, I do not walk on those, they have those grates. If you live in New York City, or I guess any city, there's grates on the sidewalk. Never. I always walk around them. People think I'm crazy. But who's crazy now? I didn't fall down the hole. Let's see. Oh, October 27th. This isn't on here. But October 27th, Silicon Valley's final season comes to HBO. Doomcock has hit 59,000 subscribers. And he's going to celebrate on Friday Night Frolics. And he put out a rumor video on Star Wars, which I did not get to listen to before I started. Come on, somebody's got to say something here of value. Aloha stops. I mean, that looks like Tulsi Gabbard. I have no idea what you said. Okay, you know what? Let's see. What did Tulsi Gabbard tweet? Tulsi Gabbard tweet. Tulsi Gabbard claims CNN cut her off to protect Elizabeth Warren. Surprise. Apparently there was a Democratic debate the other night and nobody watched. Representative Tulsi Gabbard is taking aim at CNN following the 4th Democratic presidential debate on Tuesday night in Westerville, Ohio. Is that near you, Mike Richards? Gabbard took to Twitter on Tuesday evening and again Wednesday morning, claiming that the news outlet had interrupted her line of questioning towards Warren as a protective gesture. Surprise! CNN cuts off Tulsi to protect Warren, someone tweeted in the 2020 candidate's account, attributing the words to her sister, Veridian. Veridian? That's a name? That sounds like a satellite. Surprise, CNN cuts off Tulsi to protect Warren.
To serve as president, but not every other one of us. I am grateful to have been trained very well by the Army and do my best to stay in shape. But here's the real question I believe you should be asking is, who is fit to serve as our commander-in-chief? This is the most important responsibility that the president has. What Donald Trump has been doing in Syria.
I gotta mute when something important comes on, I'll unmute it.
Highlights how critical it is that we have a president and commander-in-chief who is ready on day one, bringing experience and understanding in foreign policy and national security, bringing the experience that I have, both serving in Congress now for...
I'll be honest, she's been talking so long, I'm surprised she hasn't been cut off already.
Terrorism and upcoming threats, serving on the Homeland Security Committee, the experience that I have as a soldier, serving for over 16 years in the Army National Guard, deploying twice to the Middle East, being able to...
She's just talking too long.
To fulfill this responsibility as Commander-in-Chief on day one. I'd like to ask our other candidates this question. I'd like to start with Senator Warren. What her experience and background is.
I'm sorry, thank you. We're going to take another break now. The CNN New York Times debate live from Otterbein University here.
Honestly, I like Tulsi, don't get me wrong. I do, and if it came down to somebody other than Trump versus Tulsi, I might actually vote for Tulsi. Despite disagreeing with her, she tends to be tell it like it is type of person, which resonates with me even if I don't agree with everything. However, I don't think they cut her off to protect Warren in this particular case. She was talking. I don't know if she has 2 minutes or what, but it felt like usually you probably get like 90 seconds. She was well over 90 seconds. And then she wants to first pose a question to somebody else. I don't know how the rules of the debate were, but it just seems like, if she wanted to ask the question first and then go on her long spiel that nobody cares about, she might have been okay. So I'll be honest, I don't think there's anything here with these tweets. Let's see, let's check the news. Maybe we can get a rant going from there. Hillary Clinton floats conspiracy that Tulsi Gabbard is being groomed by Russians, of course. Of course. Tulsi should take Hillary Clinton's Russian asset as a compliment. Wow. Trump says he'll host G7 summit at cost at his resort, but provides few details. Boeing knew for some months about dangers of the 737 MAX, official says, blah, blah, blah. Turkish President Erdogan says he cannot forget Trump's letter. Whatever. Trump says Turkey's attacks on Kurds were eliminated quickly by ceasefire. Former Republican Ohio Governor John Kasich says he's now for impeaching Trump. Kasich. Washington Post career diplomat testifies he raised concerns about Hunter Biden's Ukraine work. Goddamn, why is there nothing interesting? Here we go. The Office star Jenna Fisher responds to Chrissy Teigen's theory that Jim and Pam are divorced. That is interesting. I'll be honest. It didn't look like they were headed for marital bliss at the end of The Office. Jenna Fissler has a message for Chrissy. Ty again. How dare you? God damn. The fun feud started October 13th when Chrissy tweeted her theory about which couples from NBC's The Office, which ended its 9-season run in 2013, she thinks would still be together today, and which had split. According to Chrissy, despite the pair's heartwarming love story at the hit sitcom, Jim Halpert, played by John Krasinski, and Pam Beesly, played by Jenna, would not have a happy marriage a decade later. In fact, Chrissy believes the couple would have split up. TMZ videographer approached Jenna October 16th as she left a Today Show taping, and she said The Office co-star Angela Kissy are promoting their new show, Office Ladies Podcast, which premiered on October 16th, blah, blah, blah. And is full of behind-the-scenes scoops and stories. To ask her about how she felt about what Chrissy said. Is that Chrissy? I have no idea who Chrissy is. Jenner started laughing and playfully responded, "Oh, I have words, she'll hear my words." When the videographer asked if she thinks Jim and Pam are still together, Jenner replied, "Of course they are." When TMZ staffer asked how could they possibly get divorced, Jenner took aim at the model's theory and said, "That's right, Chrissy." Chrissy had polled her fellow followers 3 days earlier. It's been 10 years since Jim and Pam got married. Do you think they are still together, separated or divorced, or open marriage? Right, open marriage. The model and cookbook author, wow, tweeted more than 235,000 people took her poll, and 70% of followers said they believed Jim and Pam were still together. 10% thought they had separated, 9% said they were divorced, and 11% guessed they were in an open marriage. 11% wished they were in an open marriage. Chrissy then chastised her fans for being so positive. "Guys, I'm loving your endless optimism here, but whatever. I hate you, Chrissy. I don't know who you are, but I hate you now." Jim and Pam divorced. What is the world coming to? Pixel 4. Asteroid tsunami. Why 40,000 mile per hour Atlantic-bound rock could wreak havoc, affecting millions. No, they won't. The U.S. Supreme Court considers rights of asylum seekers. Blah, blah. July earthquake calls fault to move for first time on record. I bet it's climate related. Nanny gets 20. That's not good. Mexican president defends retreat of security forces. Release of El Chapo's son. That's not good. In Afghanistan. Okay, New York. Local news. New York City Transit Chief Andy Byford resigns last week amid tensions with Governor Cuomo. NYPD O'Neill's Rikers plan is going to put New Yorkers at risk. Yeah, New York City is closing all of its jails. And somehow they're giving $319 million in funding to reduce incarceration rates. How are you going to use how does you giving money reduce the number of people in prison or jail? It makes no sense. Here's what New York City looks like from the top of a 1,400-foot Midtown super tall. It looks like the same thing you can see on Google Earth. Chick-fil-A's first UK location will close after pressure from an LGBTQ rights group, of course. Johnson & Johnson recalls baby powder due to asbestos concerns. Oh, that's great. Lovely. Processor requirements for Windows 10 version 1903 and 1909 updated by Microsoft. Windows 10 security alert as Microsoft warns, do not install this update. Great. Google Maps for iOS gains features. Home builders ditch Nest products after Google takeover. Samsung warning Galaxy S10 and Note 10 owners should remove their screen protectors now. Great. Quentin Tarantino won't recut Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for China. Very cool. Jenna Devon felt blindsided. Living with Yourself. Netflix fuses sitcom and humor with high-tech anxiety. Come on, is there nothing? There's nothing out there that's going to trigger me today. Donald Trump calls astronauts during first all-female spacewalk. I'm surprised they picked up. I would have imagined that headline would have been astronaut refuses to pick up phone. NASA eyeballing and eyeing inflatable space lodges for Moon and Mars. Of course. Racial disparities in NHRO1 funding may be partly caused by topic choice. What the hell are we talking about? Is this how we'll live on Mars? No, it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not. How to recognize a loved one might be considering suicide. Massive marketing muscle pushes 3D mammographies. Despite no evidence, they save more life. Pre-breakfast workouts for men could maximize a specific exercise benefit. And severe flu season potentially on horizon. Doctors are urging patients to get flu shots now. Well, holy shit. This was the most boring day of news and twits. News and tweets I've seen in a long time. I am so sorry. And I realized they didn't even have the camera on in the corner. Well, let's go to your comments. Hopefully I didn't miss anything too big. Joseph says, Shronmore, do not make them feel bad. Josh reads his bird pulled his second bird of prey. Lol. I was going to say, I hope I didn't this whole time. Joseph says, I'm driving behind a Dieselgate VW Golf, but by the way, excuse me. But my next car will be electric or hybrid at least. I feel bad. You feel bad? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Take some solace in that you're not destroying the environment by creating batteries that include toxic elements that are not going to be properly recycled and are probably just going to leak into groundwater. Because it's cheaper, whether it happens in your country or if they send it back to China and it happens there, or China ships it off to some frickin' part of the jungle in Africa and they open the batteries up there somewhere, it's going to contaminate the earth because it's just too expensive to recycle those batteries. So companies will just sell them to other companies who claim to recycle them, but they just sell them off to other companies until they get to the person with the least scruples who just says, yeah, I'll recycle them for you. And they take, 1,000 batteries for $1,000 and they just go dump them off a highway somewhere. John DeMarco says if Bird was judged, the activists would be sent to Rarapente. How's that for climate change? Exactly. Joseph says, I'm subscribed to some flat earth debunking channels. I want to hit all the deniers hard with a medicine ball. Joseph, my problem is I won't even put in the time to debunk it because it's already debunked. Right? I feel like if I watch a flat earth debunking video, then I've already lost. Because there's nothing, I don't need them to debunk anything. It's already been debunked. It's been debunked since I was 2 years old. Okay, it's been debunked for 5,000 plus years. There's nothing that a YouTube video could possibly prove to anyone who honestly believes the earth is flat. I've asked flat earthers, what evidence would you need? And they can't tell me because they don't know. Because I'll be honest, any evidence you come up with, they're going to find a problem with. If you take a video camera, you took their own video camera and you sent it into space, they would say, oh, you overrid the signal somewhere and we're getting a fake feed. Or when they put video cameras on weather balloons and send it up to 100,000 feet and you can see the curvature of the earth, they say, oh, well, that's the fisheye effect of the lens. So there's no winning. There's no winning with a flat earther. It's not even worth engaging. John, the former peasant, says Joseph and Darren need to fight. They're not going to fight because nobody has any ground to give. Sci-Fi Nation says you're not a boomer bird. You're Generation X. Gotta drink Pepsi. The choice of the younger generation. Unless you drink whiskey, then use Coke. No, plenty of Gen Xers drink Coke. Pepsi. We used to go back and forth on Coke and Pepsi, and I finally landed on Coke. Nothing beats a Coke from a glass bottle. You get a glass bottle Coke, that is just like heaven. And it's glass. So. John the former peasant says orange fingers bad. Indeed, orange fingers bad. Maybe a certain president just has a Cheetos fetish. John the former peasant says Booker is rumored to be gay. I don't think so. Joseph says, is Opera better than Chrome? No, but Opera uses the exact same internals as Chrome, and that's why I prefer Chrome, and Chrome is what I use as my main browser. But I use Opera as my secondary browser because it's basically just a Chrome clone, but I can run it separately. And in fact, you can even install Chrome extensions on Opera, even though it warns you that they might not work. I've yet to find one that doesn't work. Although Opera has its own extensions. You know, most people who make Chrome extensions port it to Opera because it's just so easy. There's really nothing they have to change. Showmore says, Joseph, some of the Flat Earth channels are the funniest thing on the internet. A few of them are trolls and glorious to watch. It is glorious to watch. Carlos says, clickbait sounds good. You know, in hindsight, it does. John Street says, but Bird, the internet demands you click on clickbait. I refuse. Sci-Fi Nation says, Opera acts like a VPN, more privacy. Well, I'm not sure about that. John the Brave. Brave is also a good one. It's very privacy and focused. Brave web browser. They default to DuckDuckGo as their search engine instead of Google. I tried using DuckDuckGo. I wanted to use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo makes so much more sense to me than using Google. And then when first time I tried to search for an image in DuckDuckGo, couldn't do it. I was like, get back to Google. Back to Google. Sci-Fi Nation is lolling. Okay. John the former peasant says only Tulsi and Mayor Pete have served. I don't know who Mayor Pete is. I guess he's another Democratic candidate. Mike Richards is bird of prey. Yes, Westerville is just north of Columbus, almost a suburb. But don't say that to them. I won't. I won't, Mike Richards. Your secret is safe with me. Sci-Fi says Mayor Pete is a bought-off corporate hack. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Joseph says our president is 45, female, and actually very good. And actually looking very good. Well, very cool, Joseph. John the Fourth President says some have said Pete's service wasn't quite what he made it out to be. Oh, Pete's service. Shromore says Joseph, our president, is old and looks like Gollum after smoking crack pipe. Carlo says vote Trump, he's funny. Carlo. Mike Richards is laughing. Sci-Fi isn't eating many Cheetos. Yep. I think we found it out. So John the former president says, has anybody noticed Hillary is wearing mamoos rather than her traditional pantsuit? Moo-moos. I had not. I try not to look too closely. Sci-Fi Nation says, why would anyone pay attention to her at all? I don't know. Yosef says, just got Zuzana Kapitova. Sci-Fi says, bird of prey, great stream, bud. Heading home. Not sure if you'll be on when I get there. Live long in alpaca, everyone. Take care, Sci-Fi Nation. I don't know how long I'll be on. I didn't do dinner yet. So. I do. And just because there's like twice as many people on now. A reminder, if you guys were planning on seeing Anti-Trekker on Nerdrotic stream tonight, he was supposed to be streaming with Nerdrotic on Nerdrotic's Friday nights, whatever he calls it, Friday Night Tights. Yeah, Friday Night Tights. He's not going to be on tonight. He's going to be on next week. There was some sort of conflict. He's also not too sure that he's going to stream tonight himself. He was having a lot of knee pain. He tweeted a picture of his knee. It's looking pretty rough. There's still a huge incision in his knee. And, I mean, it just looks painful to even look at. So I can only imagine what he's going through. So so if you're going to watch Nerdrotic tonight, you still should, but Anti-Trigger isn't going to be there. Hopefully, next week is what he told me. It's been changed to next week. And he might stream tonight at his normal time, like 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern, but he might not. He wasn't, when we spoke, he wasn't too sure. So just a heads up, everybody. Ms. Lundell says, John the former president, that's because he hides his ostomy bag. John the former president says, Lundell, I believe he hides the back brace people notice under her suit. Mike Richards says, I don't know who you are, but I hate you now. I do. That happens a lot. Darth Raven says, bird of prey, only thing wreak havoc for is millions of extinction. Rebellion, they are blocking my mystery meat beagle. Jesus. Mr. Lundell says, John the former president, it's hiding both. It could be. John the former president says, perhaps. Carlos says, wouldn't all the nuclear bomb testing cause global warming, but they don't mention anything about them? Well, I mean, anytime humans do anything, whether it's setting off a nuclear bomb or putting on air conditioning or putting on heat in the winter or air conditioning in the summer or just about anything, set a campfire, throw wood on their fireplace, turn on their car engine, everything generates heat. Forget the gas. Forget the CO2 and the methane and any other so-called greenhouse gases possibly being emitted from it. Even if it's an electric car, you're still adding heat to the environment, using the batteries, using the air conditioner, using the heater, using the brakes. Everything we do adds heat to the environment. So that heat being added to the environment, I'm 100% sure it does cause some sort of local effect on climate, right? Cities that are built of asphalt and concrete, they're noticeably warmer than the woods, than the country around them, with dirt and mud and trees. That's just normal. I mean, that's heat being put directly in the environment. So yes, humans do affect the climate. It is by how much do they affect the climate. That's the issue. And Joseph says that an asteroid hitting the ocean would cause tsunamis, coastal housing would be gone. There's a Neil Tyson lecture on YouTube where he talks about the asteroid Apophis. Fantastic listening. I am not as convinced, Joseph. I know, people try to scare us that, this little thing happens over here and this giant tsunami could wipe out the entire East Coast. But to raise the amount of water that it would take to put a giant tsunami the entire length of the eastern coast would be like bajillions of nuclear bombs, okay? I don't even think an asteroid. I mean, yeah, if it was a 5-mile wide asteroid that hit the ocean, sure. But I mean, it would probably vaporize half the ocean at the same time. But if it's a 400-foot or 500-foot wide rock that hits the ocean, I don't care how fast it hits the ocean. It's not causing a tsunami around the entire East Coast. It's just the amount of water displaced. It simply doesn't exist. And people say, oh well, they can point to this little bit of land falling in and causing a great tsunami, but that was inside what was practically a lake. It was surrounded on like 4 sides by land. It wasn't open ocean. And then the wave went really high up on the other side of the shore. In the open ocean, sure, if you get a massive earthquake, you get a tsunami like we saw in 2004. That does hit a lot of coast. But if the 2004 tsunami hit the East Coast, it would be bad. Don't get me wrong, it would be bad. But it wouldn't be 400,000 dead bad. The infrastructure is just different. Oh, it would be a disaster. It would be probably the greatest monetary disaster in the United States history in terms of everything that would need to be replaced. But I seriously doubt our death toll would be anything like Asia had, or the islands had. And still, I don't think it would do the entire East Coast. Where are we? Showmore says Darth Raven, so the Extinction Rebellion, the mystery meat. A lot of them are pretty toxic, so it will be tainted. John, the former peasant, says the Inuit elders said the earth has slightly wobbled out of its traditional tilt. Well, that can be measured. Mr. Londell says, bird of prey, face it, New York just became Mogadishu when it decided to close its jails. My advice to decent folks is to leave while there's still time. Well, the jails close in 2026, long after de Blasio will be out of office, one way or another, due to term limits. In fact, everybody in office now will probably be out of office by the time 2026 hits. Darth Raven says, Schronmore, on my mystery meat, has a stop-fick kind of bite, so you could say it's a bit rough. Bird of prey. Its mystery meat supplier Meat gives me a little... No, there's no bits of sassy. Yosef is rolling on the floor laughing at Darth Raven. Josh Reed says, oh no, Kroger's going to burn since the news is almost putting birds to sleep. I know. Sean Moore says, every time I put petrol in my car, I feel good. I'm helping to keep the good people in petrochemical industry employed. Yes, Sean Moore, very cool. Joseph says, the battery cycle you described, that might actually happen, and it's horrible. It does actually happen, and it is horrible. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, remember Darren saying that if you brought him personally into space, he would believe he is being tricked and it's not real. Yeah, there's nothing you could do. Ms. Lundell says, Bird of Prey, it's not flat earthers that get me, but moon landing deniers. Buzz Aldrin actually had to punch one. I 100% believe we landed on the moon. However, I can entertain the possibility that perhaps it was faked. I don't believe it was, but I could understand why some people might think that. I think it's been thoroughly debunked that it was in fact real, that there is no conspiracy. But I could still, I don't know what the right term is, because I respect Darren for 99% of what he does and his beliefs. It's not that I don't respect Darren. It's not that I feel like I couldn't be friendly with Darren. But I do not respect the flat earth theory. Okay? I can respect those who think that we weren't on the moon. I can't respect those who believe the earth is flat. Now, if you want to argue the earth is flat, but you admit that you know it's not flat, and you are just arguing it because you want to brush up on your argument, on your debate skills, and, sometimes taking a wrong position is a great way to brush up on your debate skills, right? That's actually a good idea to do. Then fine, I'll debate with you as long as you've admitted that, no, I don't really believe this, I just want a good debate. But if you're not willing to admit that you're arguing a bullshit point, then I am just not going to engage flat earthers. I have engaged people who denied the moon landing, because usually it comes out of a bunch of, they have false facts, or what they think is true isn't. Like, in fact, just a couple months ago on Twitter, maybe it was like 6 months ago, it was some point, it wasn't all that long ago, maybe 4 months ago. On Twitter, somebody was talking about how, the moon landing is fake, and they said this picture of the moon could never have been taken by Apollo 11 astronauts. So I looked at the picture, and I was like, that, and I Googled it, because I was pretty sure. And sure enough, that picture was not taken by Apollo 11 astronauts. That picture was taken by Apollo 9 astronauts who were orbiting around the moon. It was taken from the space capsule before it went behind the moon. They were claiming that this couldn't have been taken from the Sea of Tranquility where Apollo 11 landed at Tranquility Base. And they're absolutely right. It could not have been taken at Tranquility Base. But it wasn't taken at Tranquility Base. It was taken 6 months earlier, or 4 months earlier, whatever it was, on Apollo 9 at a different place in the orbit of the moon where it absolutely could be taken. So, like, I told that to the guy, and he's just like, he backed off right away. He didn't, I don't even know if I was going to be denying the moon landing, I would make it my business to read up on every single point and make sure I have a comeback for everything I think that somebody could possibly say to me. This guy who gave up the argument as soon as I pointed out to him that the image he was claiming was from Apollo 11 was from Apollo 9. He was like, oh, sorry, you're right, or whatever. He didn't say you're right. He's like, I guess I need to look into this more. Like, Jesus, guy, don't go denying something like this based off of one little thing is what made you think that. You should have put in more work before you start denying the moon landing. And Buzz Aldrin, God bless him for punching that person, because that person needed a punch. And yes, I do support free speech, but I would say that if you've been to the moon, your punch is your speech. I would not have found Buzz guilty if somebody told me that I was a sham, I was a liar. To me, those were fighting words, and he was defending himself. Josh Street says, Bird, nothing beats soda from a glass bottle. Yeah, I agree. Joseph says, John from a peasant, I'm not going to fight. I can educate those who want to listen. But no, nobody wants to listen, Joseph. If people wanted to listen, they'd go to Wikipedia or they'd go to science, nature journals, and they'd start reading things. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, oh, proud to say, Beagle Bits, well, you're spelling of Beagle Bits, has opened its sister restaurant, Bunny's Bits, and clothing line Cats, and Kitten Mittens, and took mystery meats with new flavors. Yosef is only 9 likes. Come on, flock, hit that like. Thank you, Yosef. Actor says, I came, I looked, I liked. Thank you, actor. Though TMI. Uncle Remus says, maybe Anti-Trigger can lick her up after the live cast tonight. Well, as I don't know if you were here, but he is not on Nerdrotic tonight. It got pushed to next week. Shrumore says, if Flat Earth was true, the coast of Antarctica would be over 100,000 kilometers in circumference. Uncle Remus says, as a human, if I eat a bag of White Castle and release many farts, is that bad for the environment? Technically, yes. Darth Raven says, Schroenmore, they believe it's an ice wall that is protected by NASA. It's nonsense. Actor says, NASA is the Caribbean branch of... Oh, NASA, N-A-S-S-A, is the Caribbean branch of NASA. Joseph says, Schroenmore, that's why they are claiming Antarctic really does not allow tourists there, despite a month ago a 33-year-old guy crossed Antarctica. And what about all those old-time people who crossed Antarctica or died trying? And who about all those people, the National Geographic people, who go down and they film the penguins? Where are they filming these penguins? Joseph says, Bird of Prey, the asteroid is a Apophilus, the size of Rose Bowl Stadium. I think we'd be okay. Sci-Fi says, oh, I'm back. Did you miss me? Of course we did, Sci-Fi. Ms. Lindell says, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Man has been around only about 200,000 years. Man has only been industrialized 300 years. Do the math, people. Global warming is a sham. Actor says, oh, I saw Sassy. Hi, Sassy. Oh, hi. Sassy was behind me. Actor says, hi, Sassy. Joseph says, Sci-Fi Nation with every breath. Azine says, Actor, you will play. Play what, says Actor. Sci-Fi says, Joseph, thank you, your friend. Oh, he meant pay. He meant pay. I heard Azine, I heard you got attacked. Azine says, I meant pay. Bird of Prey, hello everyone, hello. Not to you, Actor. So Azine's a little pissed that the alpacas attacked him last night. Or at least earlier today at some point. Very sorry to hear that, Azine. If you do get a new location, send me coordinates off the server in Skype chat or something. I can station the Davis or something at your base for additional defenses. Actor says, oh friend, what happened? Yeah, sure, Actor. Miss Lindell says, if you want to control climate of change, do something for all of us, all the active volcanoes around the globe. Azine says, don't try it. I know it was you. Says you own a few things. Joseph says, Azine, Actor, no fights on my watch. And Actor says, no, Joseph. Joseph says, 9 likes missing. Schrommore says it's not like the size of the asteroid is also the kinetic energy that's released. Apophis would cause massive tsunamis. Well, we'll see. No, we won't, but I just don't think so. Actor says, wait, there's an asteroid coming. There could be. At any moment it could hit. Azine says, did the defenses ever slow you down, Actor? I heard they took some damage, Azine. Right, Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, my grandfather didn't believe we landed on the moon when it was aired. He thought it was a TV set, but a recreation of what happened just, say, a month earlier. That's also something some people believe, that although we landed on the moon, we couldn't actually get video, but I think it's legit. Agner says, of course, since I was being gentle. Joseph says, shown more exactly. Size plus needed, it would be realistic. Sci-Fi says, moon landing deniers claim Stanley Kubrick filmed them because he made 2001 A Space Odyssey so realistic. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, he was born in 1926. Well, that would put him at the right age. Epic Beard says, wait, what? Bird of Prey said the moon is flat. Well, it could be flat. Flat moon theory. Shrelmore says, one of the Flat Earth channels, which I put a video saying volcanoes are fake. He was clearly trolling. You could hear him trying not to laugh. Many of Flat Earthers are trolls. Azine says, what was that you this morning too? I haven't been to your base this morning, Azine, or today. I haven't been to your base since before I fought Cinnabon. Actor saying, no, I didn't lie to you. Sure, Actor, it's exactly what you would say. Joseph says, Apollo 8 was around the moon. 9 was testing the LEM around Earth. Okay, I'm sorry, Apollo 8. Apollo 10 flew around the moon and tested the LEM without landing. 11 actually ended memories. Okay, I think it was 10. Actor says, Azine, your base was compromised. I thought it was abandoned already. Life with Matthew says, yeah, a lot of Earth is just misunderstanding basic science. A lot of flat Earth is just misunderstanding basic science. Seems like a lot of moon denials, too. Schroenmore says some of the photos used by NASA were touched-up photos taken during training. It does not mean the landing was fake. Just NASA wanted dramatic photos they could not get on the moon. I don't have any source for that. What would be the source for that information? Schroenmore. Azine says all the ones that moved and bolstered the defenses, but didn't honestly hold out much hope, as nothing compares to sustained beam weapons. Darth Evans says, Bird of Prey, would you like to take, what would it take for you to debate Darren? Well, Darren would have to admit that he would be able to change his mind, that there would have to be some information, something that I could do to him to prove the Earth was round. And if he can't, I've asked him that flat out, and he can't give me an answer. So if he can't give me an answer, it sounds like he's not going to debate. He's not open to changing his mind. Joseph says, Bird of Prey, you should get a Lego Saturn V rocket. I have one. I didn't build it yet. It's beautiful and has 1,969 pieces. Have one at home. It is in scale, over 1 meter, 3.2 feet tall. Yeah, I have the model, Joseph. I just haven't put it together. It is a beautiful design. Azine says, by disabling my poor unmanned warp sled, it was too far, man. How will I feed the turtle standing homeless now? Actor says that was collateral damage. Azine says, yep, twice. Chris M. Collecting says, being attacked is funny until it happens to you. I don't think it's funny. Actor says, no, Bird, the attacker that took damage is an unknown party that attacked this morning. An unknown alpaca, you mean? Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, can we put you into orbit with a loudspeaker, screaming the Earth is round, so we can watch weather balloons? We can attach weather balloons to your bed, and Mama Prey can get you down by shooting the balloons with a pea gun. Yeah, I don't know about that. Actor says, wow. Yosef says, Darth Raven, Rivon, whatever. Mom is Italian from New York. If she aims, it's for a kill. Darth says, Yosef, that's exactly lol. She thinks she thinks his head is a balloon. Agnes is the only unknown alpaca we have is Cinnabon. Cinnabon told me that he was ready this week. Next time I'm ready to fight him, he's ready. Joseph says, so you should do some Lego live streams. I drank 2 bottles of whiskey while building it. The problem with the Lego live streams is the first one I did, it took me like 4 hours to do what normally takes me 2 hours. Because I was constantly stopping to show it to the camera. And the second problem is I have nowhere to put it once it's done. And you've also built his 4x4 car. Yeah, that's... Oh, I've got a few cars. I think I ordered one. In fact, I did. I ordered one that can drive outside, but I haven't done that one yet either. Damn it. There's so many Legos left to build. Yeah, Mama Prey just found it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a rock crawler. Yeah, 4x4 extreme off-roader. Darth Raven's a Bird of Prey. You should make a Lego hat and wear it for a stream. Yeah. That does sound painful, Actor. Joseph has told you Lego streams. We'll see. We'll see about doing another Lego stream. Mama Prey, you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I have something.
Okay, so we're going to give Mama Prey the microphone for a few minutes. I'm going to turn off the camera so Mama Prey can come close to the microphone. Kronos isn't here, so I don't know if I'll sing. You can come.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all set.
Hi guys. Again, thank you for coming and listening to my old lady rants and memories and whatever, but thanks. You brought up something a few minutes ago about birds flying in his bed and getting down by me shooting the balloons. Unfortunately, if anybody ever depended on me to shoot anything, it wouldn't happen. I literally, and I know for a fact, that I cannot hit the broadside of a barn.
You hear that, NYPD?
Yes.
She's not guilty.
Right. Back in the day, in Kuroga, I'm sure.
Real Kuroga.
Yeah, in real Kuroga. I am sure Bird was not born yet, because I wouldn't be shooting a gun if he was anywhere in the vicinity. But Dad O'Prey was trying to teach me how to shoot. I guess it was a rifle. I don't even know. It was a long gun, not a short one. And we were on the porch of the house, and across the road was a barn. And he would say, just aim for the barn. Not one shot hit anywhere on the barn. I saw it hit the dirt. We would see a bush move, but no. So I can literally say I cannot hit a broadside of a barn. And I don't think I ever shot a gun after that. But anyway, that was just something that came up when I heard you guys talking. But that also brought up a sadder memory. Back when Bird was in the hospital, so many bad things happened. One was when they told me his kidneys shut down and he had to go on dialysis. I had never seen anybody on dialysis, but they brought the machine to his bedside, and blood would be pumped out of him through the machine and pumped back in. I wasn't used to the sight of blood, but it really didn't bother me. I just wanted him to get better. But I did not realize that one of his friends actually could not take the sight of blood. And one of his friends come walking into the hospital to visit. I never saw anybody lose color in their face as fast as this guy did. He went from, I don't know what you would call a peachy complexion, to whiter than the sheet on the hospital bed. And I thought he was going to go down. Somebody grabbed him and grabbed him right out of the room. And we asked him, he says, the blood, he just couldn't take it. Okay, that wasn't terrible. Bird was on dialysis not all that long. I guess it was a few weeks, maybe a month. It didn't go easy. His blood would clot. They had to keep getting bigger and bigger tubes. And they had to order them. And, I mean, as one of the doctors there said, everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. I don't know how to explain. I said, has to happen to other people. They had to keep ordering more bigger tubes. It was unbelievable. But anyway, he gets beyond that. His kidneys start working again, thank goodness. And he's still in a coma. The day that the trach came out of his throat was the worst. They did get, when you're in ICU, their protocol is to keep an extra trach by the bed in case anything happens. And the doctor that was on duty apparently jumped right on his bed, grabbed the other trach and shoved it down his throat, that he did not lose too many brain cells. Believe me, he lost a few.
What?
Yeah, you used to be a lot smarter. But anyway.
Oh.
No, really. But you're still smart. But, I mean, maybe we even like you a little better this way. Aw, come on, you're not dumb. But I'm only teasing about the brain cells. What I'm not teasing about is, when I walked into the room, well, they called me from home because that was the one night I decided that somebody else could stay at the hospital and I could go and sleep. And my sister-in-law was there, and they asked her when nurses were changing shifts to go wait in the waiting room while the nurses changed shifts. See, when they ask me to do that, I always say, no, thank you, I'll stay right here. But she didn't know any better, and she went out in the hallway into the waiting room. And that's when the tube from the trach caught on the hospital bed railing, because they had the percussion turned on the bed and the turn, and it pulled it right out of his throat. But anyway, when it got pulled out, air got into his head, his whole face. I walked into the room. He looked like a balloon. I mean, a Mylar balloon. And I went, oh my God. That was it. I did not think he could make it beyond that. I thought that was the end. And his lung collapsed. So now they're putting a tube in to reinflate the lung. And it didn't take long. Also, the air did dissipate from the head, and his head went back down to normal. But one of the worst sights I ever saw in the hospital, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just take somebody's face, put it on a balloon, and blow up the balloon. But all kidding aside, he didn't lose any brain cells. Maybe a couple. But anyway, he's still.
Something happened to my ear.
Oh God, your ear. Yes.
My ear is misshaped. It's not
No,
the same.
oh, no, that's true, but your ear. All kidding aside, they had the tube to the trach. Before they put it in your neck, before they cut your neck, they had the tube going down your throat. Well, in order to hold it in place, they just taped it. They taped his ear bent forward. And then they had something else taped to the ear. His ear turned completely black and got scaly. And, I mean, it looked like I thought his ear was going to have to come off. Your fingers, too. In ICU, they check your blood sugar level every hour. Every hour. That's 24 times a day. He was in ICU for 7.5 months. His fingertips were black. I mean, and looked like they were coming off too.
Maybe I've got new fingerprints now.
Finally, you could, I don't know. But finally, I say, why do you keep sticking him? Look what you're doing. Why? Oh, it's our protocol. It's our protocol. Had to go to the director of ICU because he did not have high sugar. He wasn't eating. He was only getting intravenous fluids. And I said, so they finally agreed not to stick him every hour. And eventually his fingers healed, his ear healed, but his ear does have a little bit of a...
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah. They said, we could have plastic surgeon come in. He can't goddamn move. Am I worried about a little thing on his ear? I'm worried about why his legs don't move. Anyway, we are where we are today, and I am grateful. But reliving some of the things from back then, as long as he's alive and he's well, hopefully the walking will come. Thank you for listening to my rants. I'll try to find happy stories next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mama Fred. Now, Uncle Remus, and I'm taking this out of order, says, should have used the 7-Eleven Slurpee as intravenous fluid. Uncle Remus, when I first woke up and I could eat and drink, I asked them what I wanted was a grape Slurpee. A grape Slurpee. My mom, my dad, my sister, my aunts and uncles, everybody tried like every 7-Eleven, other places. There was nowhere, I would guess, within 100+ miles that had grape Slurpees. Now, I knew I would get them, but I would always get them from up in the Adirondacks, in Caroga, actually. Caroga had places that had actually were called Hush Slush Puppies, or Hush Slush Puppies. And they had grape. They were a lot like Slurpees. And it was deliciousness. And I, to this day, have not had my proper grape Slurpee. Now, we went so far after I got home, we ordered the grape Slurpee mix from the Hush or Slush Puppy company to make our own Slush Puppy, but you have to have a thing to make the ice. So even though we put ice in the blender, it just wasn't right. It wasn't the same. I'm still waiting for my great slushy. I said that was the one they wanted. They said, well, if you can't get grape, I'll do cherry. So they did bring cherry. I don't mind cherry, but I so wanted grape. For whatever reason, grape is not a flavor they have much in New York. Now, when I was in San Diego for work, I used to love it because, back when I would eat Pop-Tarts, in New York, you could only get strawberry or chocolate Pop-Tarts. But in San Diego, they'd also have grape Pop-Tarts, and I would get grape Pop-Tarts. Like, oh, these are delicious. I'd take some back to New York with me. I don't understand why. They're like, oh, well, local. I asked. I went to the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Thank you so much for a £2 sterling super chat. A small contribution for your mom's Xmas present. Thank you so much, Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. I will put it to that. I always try, Mom will pray one outside. So I always try to get Mom will pray something nice. And actually, since she's outside and can't hear this, I was thinking her birthday is actually December 16th. So we're still got a ways away. But I was thinking, I don't know if any of you guys would be interested, if I gave out an address on my Discord, perhaps, if any of you would be interested in sending Mom O'Prey a birthday card. I thought it'd be really cool if some of you could send her a birthday card. She would completely be not expecting it, and I think she'd really enjoy seeing some birthday cards, because she really doesn't get birthday cards from many people. And if all of a sudden, in the days leading up to her birthday, a handful of cards came in from you guys, I thought that might be cool. That might cheer Mama Pray up a little. So if any of you guys are interested, we'll call this project. We've got to give it a name. We'll call it Project. We'll call it Project 16 because her birthday is the 16th. So if I ever talk about Project 16 on Discord, you can go to. We'll talk about it. That's where the address will be, and you send it there. You address it to Mom O'Prey 5 at the address I give you, and it'll be really cool. Project Smile. Sure. Project Smile, Project 16. Do it sooner than later. That's true. I don't know how long it will take to send from Europe. You're right. Okay, but it'll be less than a month. I don't think it's going to take a month. So, right after my birthday, which is November 13th, I will get you guys the info to send it to Mama Pray. So that'll be really cool. And thank you guys. Oh, you don't do Discord. Hunky, Chunky, Funky Monkey. Do you do Twitter or something? I mean, honestly, even if I could put it on YouTube. I could put it, you could copy it, and then I delete it before. I won't keep the video. I don't want to keep the address on the video forever, but I could put it up on YouTube and then people could delete it. Darth Raven, can you invite me to your Discord? Sure, Darth. I'll find you on Discord. I'll re-invite you. Not a problem. Okay, so getting back to the comments. Where were we? Yes, it sounds painful. Actress says, let it Lego. Joseph says, Mamo Pray time. Yeah. Darth Raven says, Mamo Pray says, oh boy, my 40-plus-year-old son ordered Lego. Oh joy, shoots another glass of whiskey. That was when we were still talking about Lego. John the Former Peasant says orange fingers bad. Oh no, that was way up there. John DeMarco says, hail Mamo Pray. Darth Raven says, hey Mamo Pray, hope you are awesome. Epic Beard says, we went a crashing a stream. No son of a bitch. I did the son of a bitch earlier. What was that, Sassy? Was that outside or was that in here? I don't see anything outside. No, it wasn't outside. Darth Raven says, hey to Mama Pray. Joseph says, Darth Raven, I'm 43. And, let me put the camera back on. I'm 43 and my mom and wife buy me Lego all the time. I'm a lucky son of a great woman. You certainly are, Joseph. Very cool. Epic Beard says, bird takes after mom then. Remember the fair and sloppy shot, outshot bird. I think I can shoot pretty decently. They're saying I don't have a good shot. Video games don't count. Darth Raven says, vertebrae, we can leave bird floating in space, make him into a satellite for Beagle Bits. We can add an advertisement to the end of Beagle Bits New York Burger, $9.99 free Sashi plush. Darth Raven says, Joseph, you should make a Lego armchair. Wow. Joseph says, that sounds painful. You should do something for Anti-Tracker. Get him a new leg. Oh. Uncle Remus says, maybe Anti-Tracker needs more drugs. Possibly. Mike Richards is Bird of Prey. Here's a medal for Mama Prey and for all loving caregivers. Thank you, Mike Richards. Actor says, from Rosie to papayas color. So exactly like Bird when he is shooting upon Space Engineer. When he is shot upon in Space Engineers. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey hugs. We all feel for you. Honestly, you're very strong. Honestly, you're a very strong woman after seeing that and what you did for him now. You get a free New York Beagle Bite burger. Darth and Bird of Prey, you're lucky to be alive, man, and we are glad you are. Thank you, Darth. Actor says, all the medals, Mike. Actor says, oh, Joseph is lolling. John DeMarco is saying Mama Prey got in a good burn there when she said that I lost some brain cells. Uncle Remus says, ha ha ha, lost a few brain cells. Damn, Mama Prey, that's harsh. Abig says, Mama Prey just said Bird is a dummy now. Lol.
No. you're still well above average. They just have no clue how smart you used to be.
B. Cluette says Lowell used to be smarter. Darth Raven says bird of prey. Bird has brain cells. It's lonely. Sassy seems to be eating something. Agner says no, not dumb, just not genius anymore. Epic.
It's still genius, was
Uncle Remus says hashtag where's my brain cells. Mike Richards says Hector, damn right. Tiki of Doom is laughing. Tiki says it's okay, Bird. You're one of us now. One of us. Yosef says not to worry, Joe. My mom thinks I'm dumb but lucky. Well, that's... Lucky is pretty good. Agner says one of us. One of us. Oh, boy. Darth Raven says, Yosef, we all think you're dumb. Actor says you could be president, Yosef. Tiki of Doom is still laughing. Darth Raven says, bird of prey, that's your normal head size, your poor mother. Uncle Remus says brain swell, kind of like, no. Epic Beard says bird bit off his own ear off, no. How could I even bite my own ear? I don't think it works like that. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkeys is kind of like Arnie at the end of Total Recall. Oh, yes, yes. In fact, that terrible, animation they had to go to make him and the woman's head, expand in the low Martian atmosphere. That scene used to scare me as a kid. I loved Total Recall, the movie, but I'd hide my hand, I'd hide the screen when that one scene came on. Those faces get blowing up like that. I mean, I could deal with the alien, with the mutants inside the guy. That didn't freak me out. But those faces popping up like that was too much for me. Thank you for the reminder, Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Yosef says, Darth Raven, some things cannot be hidden. Yosef says, Hector, so being dumb is a prerequisite. Darth Raven says, Yosef, lol, I cut my toe tip off by accident. Wow. Uncle Remus says, black ear, Mamo pray, I'm eating here. Agnes says, it's not an impediment, Yosef. Yosef says, Darth Raven, if the shoe fits. Maybe you know an old Russian proverb. If shoe fits, wear it. And then Uhura goes, and they point. And it's aliens. 2 aliens with so big and ridiculous feet that they don't even have shoes on. That Starfleet has given their species an exemption from wearing shoes or boots because it's just impossible to create shoes that would fit them even in the 23rd century. Yosef says, I read that. Yosef says, good to know, Hector. Darth Raven says, Yosef, lol, I covered it in sellotape and gauze and went to see Deadpool. Wow. Uncle Remus should have used 7-Eleven Slurpee as intravenous fluids. Yeah. I wish they had found that grape Slurpee. Darth Raven says, bird of prey, give your mom a hug from me after the stream. I will. Big Beard says, thanks, Mamo Pray, anytime. John DeMarco says, thanks for the story as always, Mamo Pray. Uncle Remus says, Slurpee all the way. Cherry is the way to go. I got a little tired of cherry. Don't get me wrong. Cherry is still the main flavor for Lifesavers. And for Lifesavers. But if it's anything else, gummy bears, right? Because there's not a lot of gummy bears that have grape. But if they do have grape, I like the grape. The lollipops, not that I eat much of lollipops. I'll take grape over cherry most of the time. And Slurpees, ice drinks, Italian ices. I'll do cherry if they don't have grape, but if they've got grape, I take the grape. Yosef says, Darth Raven, bad as move. Darth Raven says, Joseph, no thanks. I don't like hospitals. And money booked. Haha. And had money booked. Oh. And thank you, Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Hunky Chunky is, yes, he's on Twitter. DMs are open. Very cool, Hunky Chunky. I'm at BirdoPrey5 on Twitter. I will try to find you, man. Darth Raven says, Joseph from Ireland. Okay. Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey is 40 and still buy Lego sets occasionally. I guess I am one of you guys. We're all in the same boat. Understood. Joseph. Darth Raven, yes, reasonable. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, greetings, birds, turds, and mighty alpacas. Welcome, Wesley. Right towards the end of the stream. Again, Joseph says, fun fact, in a mirror you can kiss yourself only on the lips. Angaremus says, get your ass to Mars. Wesley says, greetings to you, bird. Greetings, Wesley. Hunky Chunky says, just imagine an alpaca's head blowing up like that. Oh, no, I don't want to think about that. Angaremus says, Bird of Prey, what did you think of Star Trek Generations? Would it have been better if Leonard Nimoy was in it? You know what? I liked Generations at the time. In hindsight, is it the greatest movie? No. But it's a perfectly watchable Star Trek movie for me. I have no hate of Generations. I hate that Kirk died. I thought that was kind of stupid. I thought the entire Nexus was kind of stupid. And why did he need to destroy a star to bring the Nexus closer to it, when the first time he got into the Nexus, he flew into it with a spaceship? They said, well, all spaceships that have approached the Nexus have been destroyed. They've been destroyed, but the people who were in them got sucked into the Nexus. So they could have just flown the spaceship into the Nexus like he got in it the first time. Also, the problem with Star Trek Generations is that when you blow up a star, the gravity does not change until the planet gets wiped out, because the mass is still centered on the initial mass of the star. Blowing up the star doesn't cause the gravity to change. The gravity won't change until the mass has gotten so far away that that's actually past the Nexus. So blowing up the star would never change the gravity as they claimed it would. And especially on that planet, like for Earth, it takes like 7 minutes or something for light from the sun to make it to Earth. So even if they would have had to fire that torpedo, would have had to be moving at warp speed, and then it still would have taken probably 5 minutes for them to even realize the star went black. But in the movie, it happened damn near immediately. So I got a lot of problems with the physics of the movie. But again, that's nitpicking. I loved seeing Kirk again. Yes, I would have liked to see Leonard Nimoy. I would have liked to see everybody. I would have liked to see all the original cast in the movie. But hey, they got Shatner, they got Chekhov, and they got Scotty, which wasn't bad. I was okay with it. The time in the Nexus was kind of nonsensy. I loved seeing the TNG cast on the big screen for the first time. I thought Data's emotion chip got pretty funny, and the fact that you couldn't remove it, oh well, it's, I mean, that's the kind of thing that happens in Star Trek. Oh, you can't remove it. Well, if you could remove it, there'd be no movie. I'm not sure Data would have become a coward with the emotion chip in, but whatever. And of course, the crash scene of the D saucer section, which was the best crash scene we've ever had in Trek to this day, and we got to see it twice. So overall, I like Generations. I mean, I will totally watch Generations. Generations is not a movie I would skip. Is it a perfect movie? No. I like 4, 2, and 6 better than Generations. 3, maybe. 5, no. I don't hate 5 either. I put 1 as the worst of the first 6 movies. And I would say Generations is better than Star Trek 1 and 5. Not as good as 2, 4, or 6. And about on par with 3, which I don't think is a terrible movie either. Where are we? Wesley says, Bird of Prey, I liked Red Jelly Babies the best. Doris Raven says, Bird of Prey, I am drinking a grape and apple flavored water. That's not bad. Epic Beard says, Mega Warhead Grape is good, but lemon is better. Lemon? Oh my god. Uncle Remus says, Bird of Prey, why don't you live cast with Anti-Trekker like Nerdrotic does with multiple people? Honestly, Uncle Remus, we haven't really talked about that. And when Anti-Trekker's streaming, it's usually late at night for me. I mean, if we pre-planned it one day, I could do it. But I don't want Sassy barking during Anti-Trekker's stream, obviously. You know, if I was ever going on somebody else's stream, we would make sure Sassy would not be being fed during the time I was streaming. But since it's my stream, and I don't want Sassy to have to go without food, she can get her food. It's really just something we haven't talked about. Maybe one day. We'll see. Uncle Remus, I like Generations as well, even though it had some shortcomings. People are harsh to Generations. I'm not harsh. I like Generations. I like First Contact. I'd say the weakest Next Generation movie was Insurrection, but I don't hate. There is no Star Trek movie of the original and TNG that I hate. In fact, there's no Star Trek movie, including 2009, Into Darkness, and Beyond, that I hate. The movie I would watch the least out of all the Star Trek movies ever created is the motion picture. It is just way too slow for me. The next least favorite of all the Star Trek movies, it's weird. The very first and the very last, Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond is my probably second to least favorite of all the Trek movies. Now, a lot of people give Into Darkness crap. I kind of liked Into Darkness. Don't get me wrong. I hate what happened and that they went with Alex Kurtzman, and that in some way 2009 opened the door for Discovery. I don't think it was worth it. But seeing them on their own as standalone movies, I had no problem with 2009. I didn't like the fact that they destroyed Vulcan, but I could get behind the way they did the alternate timeline. I could live with it, even though everything tells me that if this was an alternate timeline, Spock, having learned everything he has from Captain Kirk, would have simply gone back in time to prevent the destruction of Vulcan, like Kirk did to prevent the destruction of Earth, at least twice, right? Why wouldn't Spock just go back in time and prevent the destruction of Vulcan? I don't know. It's like Spock didn't care. Anyway, regardless, Star Trek 2009, I didn't hate it. I watched it. I thought I was going to hate it. I was the biggest critic of that movie until it came out. And once it came out, I actually apologized to the people because I was big into a Star Trek 2009 web forum at the time, and I was saying this movie is going to suck. They're going to destroy everything. And then I saw it. I was like, you know what? My apologies. I can live with this movie. And then a week later, I was in a coma.
2 days.
2 days.
You saw it on the 7th of May.
2 days after I saw the movie, I went home, I apologized, and 2 days later I was in a coma. So I could live with it, but maybe I couldn't. I never quite blamed J.J. Abrams for the coma, but maybe I should. Maybe the body was rejecting it. And then I saw Into Darkness, and I was pleasantly surprised by Into Darkness. And I know everybody complains, but it's Star Trek 2 all over again. I was like, but that's fine with me, because it is Star Trek 2. And the fact that it follows the same basic premise, that it was a Khan-involved movie, and now this time Kirk dies instead of Spock, and Kirk gets revived instead of Spock. It's like the universe has a plan. And just because it's a different timeline, I'm okay with things still happening like the way they were, close to the way they were meant to happen. I thought that was a feature of the film. I didn't think it was a problem with the film. I thought it was a good thing. But a lot of people hated it. And then Beyond was just total crap. That starbase made no sense. You wouldn't put a freaking starbase that looks nothing like a Federation starbase. Even a separate timeline doesn't explain the changes in that starbase. The starbase tech would not have been that different. Because of something that happened 30 years earlier or whatever. Something inconsequential. And even if you did make this giant starbase, you're not going to put it next to an unexplored nebula. The nebula was right there. Nobody ever explored this nebula. That there was another Federation ship in there and bad people. That's bullshit. And then, of course, that they blast music through space to kill the goddamn Beastie Boys to destroy the bad guys at the end. It started off okay. I like the very beginning, and then he's riding a motorcycle. By halfway through Beyond, it's total garbage. Maybe one day Uncle Remus will do multiple people. I could try to get people on one day, I guess, myself. Kennewick says preach. Uncle Remus liked the beginning with Kirk, Scotty, and Chekhov. Yosef says the Nexus concept was too much fantasy, less sci-fi, similar to the God in Star Trek V, or the stupid concept of the crystals on Discovery. But yes, it was watchable, and seeing the D in cinema was great. Yeah. Joseph says, I meant the D, not the D. I gotcha. The Enterprise D. Miss Lundell says, and we saw Sulu's daughter. Wouldn't be the Enterprise without a Sulu at the helm. Indeed. When did Sulu have time for a family? It's like you always said, Captain. If it's important enough, you make the time. Mr. Trent 100, killing Picard's nephew was stupid. Yeah, that was another thing. Not only his nephew and his uncle, his brother. Kennewick says, yes, Rene Picard deserved better. Kennewick says a TNG sequel could have been centered around Rene Picard as an ensign in Starfleet. Captain Picard could use time travel to save his nephew. I'm just saying, could have. Yosef says, I still think Nemesis Crash was epic. The Nemesis Crash was pretty damn good. But I just have to say, seeing it in the theater, the D coming down, we had just so much more history with the Enterprise D. It just seemed I mean, I was shocked. And we got to see it twice. Kennewick says, no, Alexander, we're talking about Sulu's daughter. Mr. Trent says something. Picard's brother could have been badly injured. He was great in the family, indeed. Agger says, my father's middle name was Rene. He hated that. Never used it. It's okay. Darth Ravens is bird of prey. Can they give you bionic hand? I'm not really going to worry about the hand until I can walk. That's what I told them. I can't imagine going through an operation right now and not being able to walk, right? Once I can walk, then we can worry about doing something with the hand. It's not a priority for me. I can type. I never typed with all my fingers anyway. I can actually use, as weird as it sounds, the game controller. It actually fits. I mean, I can do up here. I can do the thumbs. It's not as good, granted, and I shake. I mean, there is nerve damage, so playing games with a controller or even a mouse is pretty hard for me because, like, I can't keep my hand particularly steady, and this one's even worse because of the nerve damage, but, I'm not going to fix the hand till I can walk. Although, if I ever fall asleep for some reason, or whatever, and somebody wants to give me a bionic hand that has nerve impulses and touch, I wouldn't mind. John DeMarcos' Nemesis was an odd combo of epic and silliness. Yeah. Hungary says, I miss Picard and Next Gen crew. I know I'm going to watch Picard hoping it's good, but I'm pretty sure it will be crap. I agree. John DeMarcos' Generations wasn't terrible, but I thought Kirk's fake death at the beginning was better than his actual death. Well, I mean, for all practical purposes, it was his death. I mean, to Scotty and his friends and his family, he was dead. Darth Ravens' Bird of Prey. My Beagle Jack Russell mix was crying last night, 5 a.m., ran down, was howling his fluffy ass off. He had eaten all of his food and wanted more. I ended up having to feed 2 puppers. Yeah, that's definitely Beagle in them. Algorithmus, do a live stream once a week with Anti-Tracker Saturday night, 7 to 9. That way you won't conflict with Nerdrotic, Doomcock, and the rest. I wouldn't mind it, but Anti-Tracker doesn't stream Saturdays. Saturday is his day off. Saturday's his day off. We'll see one day. Ms. Lundell says Insurrection wasn't that bad. Nemesis was forgettable. I put Nemesis above Insurrection, but none of them were terrible. Sure, Hector. Joseph's fun fact, about 10 to 20% of U.S. power outages are caused by squirrels. Mr. Trent says, I totally hate It Into Darkness. Every scene was just, every line of dialogue stupid. Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of people feel that way. I don't. Mike Richards says, yeah, when Sassy barks, the anti-dog barks too. Actor says, the rats of the trees, the squirrels. Uncle Remus says, hey, Star Trek Beyond was pretty good. They finally got the characters right, and the story was decent. I hated Into Darkness. Hated. I know, I'm in the deep minority here with liking Into Darkness. Darth Raven says, Joseph, also known as Hillbilly Breakfast. Joseph says, Miss Lundell, Nemesis had so many plot holes it could have been Swiss cheese. Almost every Star Trek movie, even Star Trek 2 and 6, the best of the best Star Trek movies, have giant plot holes you could fly a starship through, right? I mean, in Star Trek 2, Chekhov never met Khan. They use this ridiculous code that even a third grader would have realized was suspicious. Why didn't they had the transporter location of the Genesis device? Why didn't Khan just beam down a photon torpedo or something and kill them all? What else? Oh, why did Scotty bring the kid to the bridge? I know in the extended scenes it turned out it was his nephew. But still, why do you bring him to the bridge instead of sickbay? If you're trying to save his life, it makes no sense. And Star Trek 6, how is it the Klingons don't realize there's a tracking device on Kirk's shoulder? Like, they go to prison, the Klingons don't change their clothes. They don't make them change out of their clothes. They don't even do a basic search, like they don't put a wand over him and see if anything beeps. Like airport security is stronger. The TSA would find something before Klingon prison security. Not only does he have it throughout the entire trial, throughout his incarceration, throughout his travel to Rurapente, but even on Rurapente, the Viridian patch, whatever it's called, it's still on his back the entire time. Again, 6 is a great movie, but every Star Trek movie has giant plot holes. Carlos says, my son loves Star Trek 2 and 3, shouts about getting out there when the Enterprise explodes. Getting out of there. Get out! Get out! Captain, the only thing talking is the computer. Talking? Let me hear. 5, 4, 3. Get out! Get out of there! Crazy Doc Brown. Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. I blame JJ for my being blind for a day after seeing 2009. Actor says, the defense of darkness sounds so much like the defense of TFA. Of The Force Awakens. Kenwick says it was The Force. Actor says, oh right, both directed by JJ. Actor says nebulars in real life are so disappointing. Uncle Remus says, I'd take Star Trek Beyond any day over STD crap. That's true, yes. That is true. I would take it over STD. As movies, I don't like it. But I would take the motion picture over STD. I would probably take Golden Girls repeats over STD. I would certainly take Golden Girl repeats over STD. Darth Vader says, Bird of Prey, that should have been Starbase from 2800 or 3300 because it's yeah, right. If that was the Starbase in the 29th century, then we're good. That should not have been Starbase for pre-TOS. Epic Beard says, and the rant goes on and on and on. Mike Richards says it's JJ's fault. Actor says disappointing, transparent, barely the expanse of cold molecules of gas and dirt. Angarima says if you had multiple people, it could be easier to keep the conversation going. You're right. You're exactly right, Uncle Remus. Though we'd be able to read less comments. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, yeah, they were friends for how many decades, but they never knew he had a daughter. That one, yeah. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, we got an Enterprise double D. Darth Raven says, do you like the D? The Enterprise D? Sure, I have no problem with the Enterprise D. Where do I like? I think, though, it's probably my least favorite of all the Enterprise models except the J that we've seen, but I have no problem with it. Angarima says, turn the left hand into a Slurpee holder. I like it. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey. Okay. Mike Richards says, Bird of Prey. About 3 years ago, my granddaughter gave me a Santa Claus snow globe. On the base is printed hope. You gotta hang on to hope. Very cool. Carlos says the new Star Trek film shows are good, but it's not true Star Trek. We'll never get what we want. CGI, Discovery or Voyager, not before TOS, it would have been okay. If Discovery was set after Voyager, not before TOS, it would have been okay, yes. Well, I don't know, the story still sucked, but it would have been a lot less worse. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, remember in Enterprise, Archer wore his uniform in Klingon prison. He just had a cloak on him. Okay, yeah, well, still, that's a problem. Miss Lundell says, an undiscovered country that Vidian patch was just so damn obvious. A Klingon would have known it was out of place with just half a search. Yeah. Joseph says, Golden Girls are epic even decades later. All the episodes are on YouTube, by the way. Oh, that's very cool.
The actor, Bill Macy, who played Maud's husband on the show Maud, passed away today at 97.
Mama Perez saying the actor who played Maud's husband on Maud passed away today at 97. I have no idea who that is.
You mentioned
Golden Girls. John DeMarco, I got it. I'm sorry. Maybe the Klingons left the patch there on purpose so they'd have an excuse to kill him while escaping. Angarima says the return of the Cosby Show over STD. I would take it. Wesley says Bird of Prey. So, who are you going to shoot down next on Space Engineers? Whoever comes out, whoever wants to come out and play next. This weekend I'll be back on Space Engineers streaming, so we'll do something then. I'm going to call it a night here. Thank you so much, guys. Qapla. And yes, Mama Prey is right about the Maud actor passing away today. It's unfortunate, although I don't have a face to go with the name. I rarely do. So, good night, everybody. Qapla. And remember, Anti-Tregger is not on Nerdrotic tonight. It got delayed a week. And Mama Prey wants everybody to hit that like button. So, thank you all. Qapla.